patience. We are reconvening to open session at 5:51. In closed session, the board took action to dismiss a bus driver effective January 10th, 2024. The roll call vote was as follows. Trustee Ham, aye. Trustee Jayasinga, absent. Trustee Coleman, aye. Trustee Pickle, aye. And Trustee Valadez, aye. Do I have a motion for action on student discipline case number 24?
I'll move to approve discipline case number 24 as recommended.
Is there a second?
Second.
And a call for the vote.
Mrs. Ham, can we take a roll call vote? My screen isn't
Yes.
working
Mrs. Pickle?
Aye.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Appears we lost Mr. Valadez. Mr. Valadez, we're taking a roll call vote on student disciplinary case number 24. He's an aye, and I am also an aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. At this time, we will stand for the flag salute. Mr. Valadez, will you lead us?
Ready, begin.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
And a second?
Second.
Call for the vote. Has everyone voted?
Mr. I'm waiting on Mr. Coleman.
Not getting my, I'm an aye, but it's not popping up. Let's see on mine. I
I'm
don't know
going to mark you as an aye. Is that okay?
why. Let me refresh, see if that'll work.
And that passes 4-0. Okay. At this time, we'll welcome Mr. Knott forward.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'm actually going to get straight to it. I'm going to have this
There it is. Thanks, Leslie.
There we go. Sorry about that. I'm going to call Ms. Juster and Ms. Solis up, and I'm going to let them take it from here.
Hello, everyone. I am Ms. Juster. I am a teacher here at Merced High, and we have incorporated a new program this year, and it's in conjunction with Restorative Justice League, and we are doing an academic mentorship here. It is a new program. I'm going to go ahead and get it. Can you get the clicker for the slide? This is really good. Okay, here we go.
And my name is Jade Solis. I'm the intervention coordinator here at Merced High. We're going to talk about the Restorative Justice Program. The inspiration behind bringing Restorative Justice League to Merced High is with the understanding that we have a lot of leaders on campus. We have a lot of students with leadership qualities that are different than what these stereotypical ideas that we may have of what a student leader looks like. These students are passionate, they're caring, and they want to make a difference, and they want to have an impact on the school.
The students go above and beyond what is expected. They have been utterly amazing. And this program, I'm going to speak to something personal that I wasn't really planning to, but I'm going to for a second. I'm the product of Merced High. 1994, I'm a very, very proud to be a Bear. But I went through a lot when I was younger. a lot of turmoil and a lot of trauma. And this program brings out the real. It gives me the chance to be the teacher I needed. And I hope, I really hope that we have a chance to expand and grow so all of these students get to experience a sense of community, a sense of trust, a sense of belonging when they may not feel like they do. That has been part of this process. This is a brand new program for us. We spend every week, we get into circles. We discuss things that are going on in our lives. We discuss things that are going on campus, different ways that we can support and impact our students. And this is a program that is growing. The students have been trained and have gone through the experiences that they turn around and have led conferences. Like, for example, in Las Vegas, they have helped put on conferences out there at the middle schools. And we hope to bring more, be a part of more conferences in the future. But the impact that this has and what they have seen has been utterly amazing. That's the process. They go through that process on a regular basis in our classroom. We get in touch with our feelers, and it's purposeful and it's meaningful, and it's something that gives them a chance to see how they fit and connect. And you're going to have a chance to hear from them. So it is a beautiful, beautiful program. Sorry, it's very near and dear to my heart. So through this program, they are working now towards building a peer mentorship with students on campus, in particular our at-risk freshmen, in hopes that we can make a positive change. And then as our incoming 8th graders come in next year, we already have a steady program that we're building, and we're going to continue to move forward in hopes that we can get them sooner rather than later when they first come onto our campus. Now that they have been trained and now that we have started this program, they'll again be able to tell you a little bit more from their point of view.
So just real quick before I hand it over, how this all connects to MTSS is really we opened up this classroom that's available to students in the same way that other electives such as ASB is available. And it gives these students an opportunity who really do want to get in there and be involved in the community and be involved with the school. And they might not feel comfortable in other settings, and they feel comfortable in this particular way. And they're passionate again about these topics and expanding the program. So we've opened that up, but on the tier 2 level as well, we've identified at the end of the semester a handful of lower-classmen, freshmen who are struggling. They're struggling to adjust to Merced High School. They're struggling to adjust going to a comprehensive site coming from 8th grade. And aside from connecting them with Character's strong tier 2 curriculum, we're connecting them with these students who went through what they went through. They've experienced that, and they're offering a different perspective. So these students are meeting with their peer mentors weekly on a one-on-one setting and on a group setting as well, with the hope of, again, just developing that positive culture and building that community. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to our wonderful restorative justice leaders so that they can share their experiences.
Hello, my name is Leah, and when asked to me why is restorative justice important for our community, about a year ago, I was introduced to this program by Ms. Jester, and I was a freshman last year. And I just want to say that it definitely, like being a part of restorative justice, that was one of the first time that I learned that my emotions and my feelings were valid. And a wise person told me that being like a part of this program, it really does give students those tools and necessity that they need to be productive citizens and manage their emotions in a more productive way and feel valid in a sense. And by bringing that to our school, I feel that it can stop students from like the physical altercations or like any like negative feelings that may arise, or stop them from feeling alone. And just I'm a sophomore now, and freshman year definitely was a bit hectic. I went through some things, and just in my years of being in school, I've been through things, and I've had teachers that like I didn't so much feel that I could go to. And over the years, I've had those teachers that did like reach out to me and made me the person that I am. And now that I'm a part of RJL, I'm learning how to recognize certain things with students and reach out. And by being a part of this program, like that just better my people or have bettered my people skills. And so I feel that if we have that, then students will be able to open up. They can get to know themselves, know other people, and as I said before, have those tools in their toolbox for when they do go on beyond high school and join jobs and all of that. They can be that light at the end of the tunnel, essentially. So, thank you.
For me, the RGL program has had like a major impact on my life. A common theme throughout my high school career is I've had like terrible grades and so on, and I'm a senior in high school now. But ever since I joined RGL last year, it's helped me maintain like a sense of responsibility. It's helped me maintain just my life in general, and I went from having like 3 Fs last year to having straight A's this year, and I'm very proud of that. And it's not something that I did only by myself. RJL definitely helped me get to a point where I was mentally sound enough to be able to do that, and it definitely impacted my life a lot.
Hello. Before I start, I would like to say thank you to the following people: Abby, Christian, Malone, Mally, and Leah, Miss Jester, Tanique, Mr. Griggs, and Mr. V, and Miss Jester. About a year ago, well, first of all, this has been a very impactful journey in my whole life. About a year ago, I was going through some very hard stuff, and I had been introduced to Miss Jester, and we didn't start off, I guess, as most people do. And after a few weeks of being in her class, she introduced me into RJL, and I think that is where my life had changed for the better. I am now on to greater things. RJL has opened my people skills and opened my mind to know that I am actually somebody who has a purpose in this world now. But yeah, RJL is something that should definitely keep going into future generations. It is something that will help everybody, and it will definitely spread a good word throughout the whole entire school.
Hi, I'm Malachi Martin. I'm a senior in this campus, and RJL has been impactful for me because it kind of opened my mind to how big the world is. My freshman, sophomore year, I spent a lot of time around like-minded people, and that's not a bad thing, but this program sat me in a room with people that I would never be in a room in. Like, I have friends that I would have never thought would be my friends now, and it also opens up my eyes to the fact that we often get caught in what's going on in our lives, and we think that's all that exists because it consumes us, but that's not it. Everyone is going through everything at the same time. And so understanding that and being understanding with your friends and family is what I learned here. And I feel like on campus, if everybody had that ideology running through, it could make it a more copacetic environment. And I can't do anything but thank the leaders and thank my peers for consuming that and grasping it, because it makes me feel whole, and I'm sure it can make a freshman feel whole.
By incorporating restorative justice practices into our school culture, it would definitely help build the teacher-student relationship, because in RJL, we pride ourselves in like making a foundation for teachers and students to like come together and be like more than we would have ever thought, because we can't only see teachers as just a grade or someone who's just there to like in school, but someone like Ms. Jester, she's like a great tutor and overseer for the RJ program, and we couldn't have done it without you. Like really, it's great.
Participating in these conferences the RJLs hold, we've been able to watch students really grow out of their comfort zones, and we've been able to see different cultures, different people, and different experiences come together. And I think that's really what RJL is all about. We've all been able to see people in a different light, and we really hope that we can hold more conferences, especially here at this school. Thank you.
Okay, hi, sorry. I just wanted to add one more thing. Because there's a question that's on there, which I don't know if we were going to get to it, but when asked like what is one word that you would use to describe our program overall, I would describe it as a legacy. And my reasoning for that is because, as mentioned before, we would love if this program continued, because I feel that like students that come after us, like having this here can give them the resources that they feel that they didn't have before, and they won't feel so alone, and they can know that like being open to other people that may have the same experiences that you go through, or you've never been through it, and it can just help you be more mindful. And you know, thank you.
I can't even, words cannot describe how lucky I am to work with a terrific bunch of amazing students who continuously blow my mind. I can't wait to see where their futures go. That's it for me. I'm nerved up, sorry. I'm so nervous right now. This is my first time at the board meeting.
So at this point, we'll open it up to any questions that you may have for the students or for ourselves.
I just want to say thank you for doing this, you know, for starting something new. Your commitment and your passion for this are obvious, and that's what it takes to make a difference. I mean, you've obviously made a difference for these kids. So thank you for doing that, and thank you to all of you for coming to speak and for all your successes. You guys are on the right track, and I applaud you for that.
Ms. Jester, how many students do you have total?
I just gained 3 more this semester, so I'm at 25 right now.
So just one period?
1 period this year.
Got it.
I have hopes that it grows.
And that's one of the things that we're working on this upcoming semester, is really promoting the program more, so that more students outside of the program know about it and will participate in it. We have had multiple students ask to join the program, so we're definitely hoping to grow it next year.
How is the program promoted? How do the students find out about this program?
I have 2 clubs, so there was a lot of students that I connected with through being an advisor for clubs, and that was the start in meeting a lot of these students, and then it just kind of expanded, and then we did recommendations. We met with students in the spring of last year that we identified as students that may not have had their potential fully tapped yet. So we met with those students to find out if they would be interested. They spent 6 weeks over the course of the spring after school going through after school training. They committed to 2 hours for 6 weeks, once a week for 6 weeks, and they've grown from there. Some of the students that were here in the spring weren't able to be in the class due to scheduling conflicts, but I do foresee this growing much more. It has a huge amount of potential.
Our goal this semester is to open it up to communities by putting on community events and inviting other students to the lunch circles as well.
Well, congratulations, both of you. You're Miss Celeste? Solis. And to you guys, great job. And it sounds like it's really helping you guys, and especially gentlemen over there, you didn't give your name, but from Fs to As, that's awesome. So great job to all of you, and congratulations to all.
This is first year, right? So sophomores, juniors, seniors, is that your group? Right, okay. Are you looking at expanding with freshmen, or what's your thought?
The freshmen right now are the ones that we would like to spend the most time focusing on.
Okay.
So as they transition in, there's a place, at the end of the day, everybody needs to know. I think about my childhood when I was here and in middle school, and it was the time when children are meant to be seen and not heard. So when you're going through something, when you're going through some type of trauma, it affects you. If you saw my transcript from this high school, it's a hot mess. But it wasn't lack of ability. It was not knowing how to channel emotions and not knowing that other people could be going through the same things. So as I got connected and learned more about restorative justice programs, and then with Restorative Justice League, it was a reminder that, you know what, we all have feelings that need to be validated. And sometimes as children, especially, and young adults, we don't always know how to express it. So sometimes it becomes a little self-destructive. So this is an opportunity to try and hopefully avoid that self-destructive behavior with as many students as possible.
Great
So
job,
it's opening up a chance and getting it to the point where they can come in and talk as needed, building that sense of trust, having the time after school. We do after school once a week. That seems to have the largest impact, and that's simply because we get more time. We definitely open up, and it's pretty amazing.
Thank you, Ms. Solis, as well. Good to see you again, by the way.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your patience as our closed session ran long. And kudos to all of you for being brave and coming and speaking. You were all incredibly well spoken, and your stories are much appreciated. And I feel like that was a fantastic sales pitch for expanding the program, not only at Merced High, but potentially district-wide. So, thank you all for your passion and belief and for sharing.
May I add, Don, it's zero surprise to me that you're having this success. I remember the conversation we had 6 or 7 years ago in your classroom. And Mr. Griggs, I have a son that is a 6th grade teacher at Peggy Heller, where you started this program. I'm not sure how long ago, but I remember him coming home a few years ago and saying, if it wasn't for the community circles, it's called community circles, right? He said, I don't know where we would be as the students were coming off the pandemic, so it has had a powerful impact there, and it's just great to see the expansion into our district.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, guys. So, again, good evening to the board members, cabinet members, and the guests. This 2023-24 school year at Merced High School has gotten off to a great start. The first semester was a successful semester as we continued our efforts to create a campus community that supports all of its members. This is just one of the ways that we're trying to do that. The goals remain for all of our students to leave Merced High School as strong scholars and champions who are trustworthy individuals, who treat themselves and their fellow community members with respect, set and attack their goals with optimism and a never give up attitude, and ultimately have success in whatever course they choose post-graduation. Our students are rising to this challenge. Looking at the data from the first semester, our school-wide GPA for the first semester was just under 3.0, with less than 8% of our grades being failing grades that were issued, which both of those are improvements over last year's first semester data. We have 355 AP students that have signed up for almost 400 AP tests in the spring, and over 80% of our students are involved on some level outside of the classroom, which is awesome. To date, our staff, which is spearheaded by the efforts of our student support APs, Mrs. Hoffman and Ms. Silvera, have recognized over 1,000 students for academic performance, outstanding attendance, representing the qualities of Bear Strong, various other things. So Not surprisingly, this has also resulted in a decrease in our major behavioral infractions, with our number of suspensions drastically reducing from last year as well. So we are having a good semester and we're off the right track. Of course, not all of our bears are currently meeting all of their potential. We've continued to tweak our early warning systems for our students. Our intervention teams meet weekly. Our staff has been doing a good job documenting interactions and concerns so that it gives us the data we need to figure out who we need to talk to. Our AP of Guidance, Mr. Sebastian and Ms. Solis, who you just met, have been running those meetings weekly, and our counselors leave those meetings with good actionable steps on who the kids they need to follow up with are. And likewise, our student support APs also attend those meetings and get valuable information. We've also implemented this year bi-weekly special education intervention team meetings that are specific to addressing concerns for our special education students. Regarding instruction, Merced High School continues its efforts to teach to the level of our standards while also providing relevant learning experiences and practicing transferable skills. Our efforts have focused primarily on establishing a strong foundation of instruction for the academic portion of our MTSS model for Tier 1. Under the direction of our AP of Teaching and Learning, Mrs. Smith, our site has set some good goals and they're making good progress, including things like having consistent uses of learning targets and having closure, critical thinking, CFUs, and the rest of the 4 Cs. That being with the idea that the more intentional we are in the way we plan student-centered lessons, the more consistent our student outcomes will be. And lastly, this is a WASC year for Merced High School. Our report will be submitted by the end of this week, actually, putting the final touches on it. So we're excited to host our visit in March. I think March 3rd through the 6th is when our visit is. So we're looking forward to getting that done and finishing the rest of the year strong going into next year. So any questions?
Thank you
Great
very
job,
much,
Marcus.
Mr.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, students, very much again for attending, sharing, and your patience. At this time, we'll move on to the general public comment period. These meetings are recorded. Individuals addressing the board are asked to fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room. Complete a blue card to speak to an item not on the agenda and a yellow card to speak to an item on the agenda. Please return the card to the administrative secretary of the governing board. Individuals addressing the board shall be limited to 3 minutes each with no more than 20 minutes per topic. During this portion of the agenda, the public is invited to comment on items which are not on the agenda, but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board of Trustees. The board will take no action at this time, but may refer the issue for further consideration. Individuals who wish to comment on agenda items shall be provided an opportunity to comment after the staff report and before the board's consideration of that item. Individuals who cannot wait to address the board when the agenda item is addressed may make their comments at this time. And we do have a couple speaker cards. Mr. Brad Haven.
Evening all, and I'm going to read my statement so I stay on my notes. Hello, I'm Brad Haven. I'm a school bus driver at Merced Union High School District for 7 years. And I'm going to start my 3-minute speech with a thought. Success in schools starts at the bus stop. Our district has great programs to support students at every stage, but what happens if a student doesn't make it to school? For 7 years, I've been serving the students of South Merced, driving them to El Capitan High School. I care about these students. Each day I greet them with good morning. I tell them have a great day when they get off the bus at school. And when I take them back home, I say, see you tomorrow. In my experience, I've noticed that when we're short on drivers, we must double up and cover the stops. When the buses are overloaded, it leads students to simply walk off, and it hurts their school attendance. A struggling student, when he sees a crowded bus, gives him a really good reason to not go to school that day. We must attract more individuals to the school bus driving profession. In California, fast food workers will start being paid $20 an hour in 2024. Meanwhile, our school bus drivers start at $21.93, a $1.93 difference. Yet a school bus driver role demands operating a $250,000 bus, passing testing and training, holding certifications, licenses, and living 100% drug and alcohol free, and all the while ensuring the safety of students in our care. We need to entice new school bus drivers to join our profession. I propose three things. Number one, we need to reclassify the school bus drivers. Number two, to support school bus drivers, we need to pay our substitutes a wage accordance with their experience to attract more subs. Subs are necessary because bus drivers get sick. If a school bus driver comes from another district to come work for us, we should pay them also at the level that they have experience. Again, let me state that success in school starts at the bus stop, and we need support as bus drivers.
Thank you very much. And Mrs. Christy Denham?
All right, so I'm Christy Dunham. I'm a teacher in the school district, teach at El Capitan Economics and Government. And I've been here about 19 years. And I came this evening to talk about unification with the Merced City School District. And the reason why I'm doing this is because of an experience I had this fall. This fall I was teaching how to how to do percentages for borrowing money for a car loan. And the majority of my students couldn't do the math. And I am not somebody who blames, I just want to find solutions. And for me, those students, the look in their eyes when they're like, we don't know how to do this, I think, why? Why is this happening? Why do I have seniors who can't do percentages? And it's kind of scary to me. So I started thinking about it, and I looked at our state test scores, and they're atrocious. And I just thought, what could be one solution to this problem? And for me, one solution is combining the high school district with the schools, the city schools. And listening to these students talk about restorative justice, and they're mentioning 8th grade, the 8th graders coming to our school. We are one community. We're not separate. There's not high school students and middle school students. They're all students. And if the curriculum was aligned all the way through K through 12, I think that would just be amazing, both in English and in math. And I think our students would benefit from it. And I'm just throwing this out there. I don't have a plan. I don't have a personal agenda. I don't have children of my own. I've been a teacher here for 19 years. I come from another area. Every district I worked for in Sacramento, in Roseville, in Middletown, they were all unified school districts. I didn't know that there was a thing like just high school districts. I didn't realize that was even something that existed until I came here. And I know it's hard. It'll be a hard, difficult thing to do, and there'll be a lot of people who won't like it. But is it something we can take a stab at or start a discussion about and maybe make education more streamlined in this area? I mean, Merced has 100,000 people now, just about. It's a big town, just Merced. So that's really why I'm here tonight, to just kind of get that fire started about potentially combining the high school district and the elementary, middle school district. 'Cause I just don't really understand why we're not one district. That's really all I have to say. So, thanks. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're moving on to reports and discussion. Cheryl Garman and Erica Cardy.
And we're on. Good evening, President Ham, members of the board, members of cabinet, Mrs. Rohrback. Innovate Ed is all about professional learning. And there are online opportunities and in-person opportunities. There's hybrid opportunities. And this was developed in 2015. So been around a while and has grown in different ways, which is very exciting. Erica Carty, my right hand in the EdTech online programs side of the house, is a program administrator who now oversees this realm of our operations. So she's going to offer you an overview and some updates about what's going on with this platform.
Thank you. I'm excited to tell you about the most fun part of my job, which is running our online learning platform. So like Cheryl said, Innovate Ed is a digital learning platform that we have for staff. We run it through Canvas, our learning management system that we use for students as well. A lot of our teachers are already fluent in Canvas because they're recent grads from UCs or Cal States. All of the Cal States use they use Canvas as their LMS, and most of the UCs, I believe, now too. So just a brief timeline of how Innovate Ed got started and how it's grown and changed over time. Like Cheryl said, we started building courses in 2015. I wasn't on the team at the time. The courses launched in summer of 2016, and then we've slowly added courses at different levels for different groups of staff members through January of 2020. December 2019, Dr. Weimer let us do a book study. That was, thank you for that. That was our first offering that was specifically around discussion around everybody reading a book. And it came from the idea of keeping staff connected while we weren't at school. So keeping staff connected while we were all home doing our own thing. A lot of people in education, we all have those reading lists that we aspire to tackle when we're off work. And so that was kind of a way to connect with other educators, other people in education, and keep the conversation going. We kind of leveraged the downtime of the winter break. At that book study, we offered 3 books, and we had a fantastic response. I think we had 75 teachers participate in one form or another. And then we all know what happened in March of 2020. And we had to put a pause on Innovate Ed while we turned our attention to getting people onboarded with distance learning and then coping with the fallout from that. The last spring, 2023, was the relaunch of Innovate Ed compensated Tier 2 courses, and I'll get into the difference between our Tier 1s and our Tier 2s in a few slides. And we got to launch another summer book study. We got a really positive response from that very first winter book study because it was completely different in structure to the regular courses that we offer, and it, again, kind of leveraged that downtime that staff has on our school breaks. We launched 2 new Tier 2 courses in the fall, and currently we're in a winter book study that will wrap up towards the end of this month. All of these courses kind of came from the idea of needing to meet our people where they are and grow them to the next step in their professional learning, their professional practice. And that is completely different depending on your role, depending on the experience level that you're at. And this was our way to kind of take barriers away, allow us to differentiate for our teachers and individualize the way that we want our educators to do for our students. So we offer 2 types of courses in Innovate Ed. Tier 1 are available to all staff. They're not compensated. We call them reference courses because they address institutionalized practices. So these are practices that we expect everybody to be bringing to the table every day. So that's our current course offerings in Tier 1. So you can see these are the things that we would want a new staff member to be onboarded with, and it gives us a way to have consistency and continuity as we bring on new staff in the expectations of what we want to see them doing in their classrooms. Tier 2 courses are available to certificated staff. They're compensated. They're mastery-based, which means at different steps in the modules, teachers or all staff who participate have to demonstrate mastery. There's rubrics to demonstrate mastery so that they can complete the course. There's a variety of discussions and activities that staff participate in, and they all culminate with a classroom application focus. These are some typical activities in a Tier 2 course. They involve reflections where staff respond to a prompt. It might be a reading, it might be a video, it might be just a written prompt. Discussion threads give participants an opportunity to engage with one another. That has been my favorite part of the Innovate Ed courses, especially since the pandemic and we've been more isolated. Getting people talking about common topics across sites and across roles has been a really rewarding part of these Tier 2 courses. And then there's also application-based activities. Participants are asked to apply their learning from a module to create an artifact that they will then implement with students. Every Tier 2 course is fairly consistent in its structure. So regardless of what the topic is, everything is research-based. We use instructional design principles and adult learning theory to build the course. Everything aligns to the MUHSD core values in some way. And that's very explicit in the courses. That's a huge part of adult learning theory, is needing to know the why. So that's kind of our umbrella that everything falls under. They all align with the core values, and they all culminate at the end of the course with a application type of activity where staff then has to take their learning from the course. There's a structured planning component. They apply that in the classroom, and then they reflect on that experience. So this isn't a very pretty screenshot, but this is so you can see what that structured planning piece looks like. This is a template for what that culminating activity looks like at the end of every one of these Tier 2 Innovate Ed courses, where it's a structured planning sheet. All of the learning goals from the course are in that column towards the middle, and staff choose which of those learning goals that they want to address in their culminating activity. And then there's a structured planning piece, and then they have individual choice on how they want to reflect on the implementation. So the implementation is a non-negotiable. They're expected to implement the learning in the course to get compensated, to complete the course and then get compensated. But we try to model the voice and choice that we want to see in our classrooms. We try to model that with our staff members in the Tier 2 courses. So these are the 4 different options that staff have to reflect, and then they submit that reflection as part of their culminating activity. I'm really surprised how kind of evenly distributed the staff choices are when they do choose how to reflect. And what this does is it gives staff a safe entry point to apply their learning from the course. Some people are going to be very comfortable having a conversation with their instructional coach, and other people might be more comfortable giving student feedback. But the more choice you offer, you remove barriers for people to feel comfortable jumping in. And so that was the rationale behind the culminating activity looking like this. So the other facet of Innovate Ed, besides the Tier 2 courses, we do have staff engaging in book studies. We did another book study this summer, again, leveraging downtime. Trying to keep that momentum going when teachers are refreshing and they're recharging their batteries, getting them connected and talking about common topics. This last summer, we offered 3 books. Staff could complete 1, 2, or all 3 of the book studies. Those are our completion numbers on the right. So you can see, given the teacher fatigue that we're still dealing with our staff, I thought that was a good turnout and a good participation. Winter book study, we currently have over 50 people participating. So that is significantly more than participated in the summer book study. So I feel like we're definitely moving in the right direction. This was a smaller book study in that we narrowed it down to one topic. So it's kind of the topic that's on everybody's mind. It's the topic, it's every other news headline we read right now. I think it's a source of a lot of angst among staff members right now, and so it's been really fun to get people talking around this topic. This book study launched the first day of winter break. Enrollment closed the last day of winter break, and teachers have till the end of the month to wrap up their discussions. And it's entirely discussion-based, and so it's been really fun with this book study to have staff We have counselors, we have admin, we have classroom teachers of all varying ranges of experience participating, and they're all engaging with each other around this common topic during their downtime out of the classroom when school's not in session. So that's been really rewarding to experience with them. The third facet of Innovate Ed is our in-person component, which is the Summer Institute. This is a in-house conference that we put on for our teachers every summer. What's special about Summer Institute is that it's all in-house talent. We have our own teachers we have a call for presenters to our own staff. Our own staff apply to present, they submit sessions. Again, the sessions are always aligned, everything's always aligned under our MUHSD core values. That's our compass when we design professional learning. It's a great jumping off point for a lot of our teachers, and a lot of them, it's their first experience presenting sessions, and then you see them go on to present at conferences. Teachers love learning from each other. And so this summer, our Summer Institute we've typically done a June session and then a session right before school starts. We're consolidating this year to offer it right before school starts as after the new teacher training. And that is a way to include all of our new staff, being very cognizant about new staff coming on board and giving them the very best possible, most inclusive start that we can. We wanted to make sure that everybody was cleared to go, and that they've been onboarded with their new teacher training. And then the second half of that new teacher week is Summer Institute, so they all have an opportunity to participate. These are just some quotes that we've gotten from feedback forms in the past from Summer Institute participants. It's a really fun 3 days because it's completely flexible. Staff attend the sessions they want to. They pick and choose. They get compensated for the sessions that they attend, and they can just fit it into their schedule and only attend the sessions that interest them. So we really have 3 components to Innovate Ed. So Innovate Ed, we have our Tier 1 non-compensated, kind of our reference courses, so that we have consistency with bringing everybody on board. We have Tier 2, and different teachers can jump in at different levels and different topics, whatever interests them and what they're ready for next. And then we have our in-person component. So that's Innovate Ed in a nutshell. What questions can I answer?
Great job, Erica. Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you pick the curriculum that you're choosing?
That is a great question. We get our topics from a few different places. So we do send out staff feedback forms periodically. And so one of our spring course offerings will be in response to what staff has asked for. We also look at superintendent goals. We look at core values. And so we try to look at other initiatives in the district and support them that way. Other times needs will arise, like for Tier 1 courses, for example. One that comes to mind is we need all of our people who have ASB accounts to have basic training. So that was a need. Scott came to me with, the resources, and so he gave me the materials, and then I just built the course. So we get input from a few different places to build those courses.
Has there been any discussion around doing this for classified staff in any capacity? I know we get questions around different interventions with students, and so I'm curious about that.
That's a really good question, and that does come up because we want to support all of our staff and all of the diverse roles that they hold in the district. And we do have Tier 1 courses to support our classified staff. The compensation for the Tier 2 courses is where it's a little bit different because, as you know, when you're a classified employee, we have to pay overtime, so it's not as straightforward. Certificated, we can give them a stipend for duties above their assigned duties, and it's a different type of a contract for classified.
Erica, this is a quick question. I'm not sure if it was you or Cheryl. The Matt Miller book, has it been popular? I mean, did you get a lot of teachers interested in that? AI is the big thing. So
Yeah, and we actually have, I think just over 50. we had 3 more staff members jump in on the very last day enrollment was open, and we've got over 50 participants right now. And what's fun about that is we've got instructional coaches, counselors, classroom teachers, admin, and so we have all these diverse roles talking about that common topic. And it's been fun to engage in that because there's a lot of anxiety about that right now. And so the Matt Miller book, I think, does a really good job of kind of breaking it down and realistically looking at like what AI can and can't do and what we can and can't do with AI. So it's been a good kind of an icebreaker, I think, for AI. We have an AI course coming out in the spring. The book study participants get early access to that course, and it's purely application based, and so it's a safe entry point for people to get in and actually let your students use it, get in, and let's build some activities. So yeah, huge response on that one actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll move to Employee Association comment period. Miss Kelly, or you gals are color coordinated.
Oh, sorry.
Figured since you dress like me, she can come like me. Totally not planned, but President Ham, Board, Mr. Peterson, Cabinet, thank you for having us. I'm going to start off by just letting you know we have a new board with CSEA. It's a lot of the same people from last year. I was elected president, and Rosemary, our backbone, is going to stay on as vice president. We have Brianna Chavez, who will be our secretary still. Jesus Zarate, our sergeant at arms. Omar Santiago is going to be moving to our communications position. And then we have Ashley Medonsa. She's going to get me because I don't think I said that right. But she's going to be joining us as our treasurer this year, so we're really excited. Before I get into the gist of what I want to say, I was going back and forth as to whether or not I should speak as just general public or not, but I wanted to point out to you guys the kind of people that you hire. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with what happened at the end of last board meeting on the way home. There was a very tragic accident on Highway 99. And I get emotional thinking about it, but I want to thank Mr. Nicholson. He really went above and beyond. The day after the incident happened, he called me to just check on our staff members and our board members, and a couple of them had actually been involved in the accident. And, you know, he didn't have to do that, and it meant a lot to us. And he said, you know, give them my cell phone number, have them follow up with me, and one of them did, and then he reached out and went to check on them. That's something that he didn't have to do, and I just want to thank you because that is really above and beyond, and we really appreciate that. So, Happy New Year, everyone. Now on to the fun things. So we're looking forward to the new year. We hear a lot of electricity and excitement going on. We're really going to miss our retirees. 79 is a lot, but with that being said, there's a lot of excitement. A lot of people, we hear the buzz. They're looking forward. They've been sitting. They've been waiting. They're ready to move up. They're ready to apply for these positions that are coming up. And with that being said, I just want to remind you guys that classified, we're always here. We're here to help. You call us, we'll do it. You need something done, we'll get it done. A lot of us have been here for many, many years and have supported the district through many different changes. And you have some wonderful, wonderful classified employees that have the potential to move up. They're quick learners. And I just want to remind the people, the hiring committees and the principals, the vice principals who come forward to, please, I encourage you to take that into consideration when you're thinking of promoting people. Remember that they've been here. They've supported us. They've gone on these rides with us to the district. And you have wonderful people right here in-house that have been waiting and are ready to move up. So that's all that I had, but Rosemary said that she had some things to say. Oh, yes, she has something to say, so here you go.
Okay, hello everybody. I just want to say Happy New Year's. Here again. I just want to touch base just because I oversee the interview process and whatnot for classified and work hand in hand with HR. I just about the importance because there is going to be a lot of opportunities this year. There's going to be people been waiting for this. You know, some have been in this district for many years. Some have been part-time, looking for full-time, you know, and some are just wanting to learn different positions and moving into those higher positions. I just want to speak tonight just to kind of just speak to just not just you guys, but the admin that sit on those interviews as well, that we interact with, even to our people who sit on those interviews, just to keep an open mind. We're starting this hiring process right now as we speak to fill these positions. We have plenty of time to train these individuals who get these positions. So keep in mind to give those people that you see in those interviews, if you see that they have the potential to grow, to learn, you guys have enough time so those retirees could teach them. Just really, like she said, just going off of what she said, is that you have these ones that have been here for a while, that know the job, that are dedicated, that have been here for you, who've been showing up like we all do. Just give them the chance, you know. We're always willing to learn. And with the new principals coming on, we all know at the end of the day, when those new admin come onto campus, when those new principals get to the sites, who shows them how the schools ran? Just gonna say that. So, I mean, we help you guys at the end of the day, you know, and we hope that you guys give the opportunities to those right people and not just say, wow, this person is from the site already, why are we gonna pick someone else from a different site? There's gonna be a shuffle no matter where we're going next year. So give those people that you think that could shine bright and learn and be the best they can be, and stick them in those positions, and they have the time to grow and experience and learn from the ones that are leaving. So just want to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Is there anyone from DTA here tonight? I don't think so. Okay, then we will move on to the consent agenda. Mrs. Pickle, will you read the donations, please?
Absolutely. On behalf of the board, I'd like to thank the following for their donations: Merced River Ag Boosters Association, Merced City Firefighters, Gary and D. Hernandez, SCS Ranch, Garcia Brothers Trucking, Moreno Brothers Trucking, Jeff and Ginger Chance, Deborah L. Jacobs Robinson, Raul Moreno, David Theodore, Claudia Easton, David Freeman, Janice Hoagland, H. Lockeretti Family Foundation, and Molly Henderson. Thank you again for your donations.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
And a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? Call for the vote. That passes unanimously. Now we'll move on to the action agenda portion of the meeting and discuss our 2024 superintendent goals. Mrs. Ballinger?
Good evening. Last month, I shared a report with some proposed superintendent goals. They were identified as goals in English, special education, instruction, social studies, and grow our own goal. The goals are there on the screen. We did add some metrics, so there were a few changes from last month, and I'll just kind of overview those. In English, we did add some completion rate percentage goals, and that was in order to help us create a baseline for future growth measures. Remember, we're just starting and creating those assessments. They'll be given the first time this spring, and then the fall ones will be created this spring for administration next year. In special education, we did add some specific percentage goals there in line with our improvement goals, specifically related to our students, our special ed students' participation in general education classes. And then also that we're going to be doing the SDC lesson planning, and that will be implemented in 100% of the SDC classes. And then in social studies, also added some metrics there of that at least one freshman seminar and health teacher from each campus will be involved in the collaboration, and that new curriculum for both the health and the freshman seminar class will be in 100% of our freshman seminar and health classes. So those are just some additional metrics from last time. The superintendent recommends the board adopt the 2024 superintendent goals and possible metrics.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Are there any further questions, discussion?
Just a comment. I know that and it's just a comment. I know math is not on here. It's been one of the goals, but just that it does stay front of mind, especially in light of some of the comments we've had as well. And then financial algebra, is that a course that's offered at all sites?
I'd have to double check on that. There might be one site it's not offered at.
In the sites where it is offered, it's a standardized curriculum, district curriculum?
I'd have to check on that.
Okay.
I don't think we have. We are, right now and then next school year, we are doing a curriculum adoption in all of our math classes. So our math teachers are currently working with Ed Services on that. So it's still in the forefront, and we are working to get that updated curriculum.
Thank you.
What about incorporating some of the math skills that, for instance, Mrs. Dunham talked about earlier into freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, the life skills, the senior seminar?
Yeah, we have senior seminar currently at all of our campuses, and it does have that financial literacy component, as well as in our econ class, there's a financial literacy component. They're looking to be kind of a scaled down version of that for freshman seminar also, and some of the curriculum we've looked at there. I think that also our math curriculum we're seeing more relevance in the curriculum that's being offered to us from publishers.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
We've had the financial literacy discussion multiple times in this forum, and we struggle with how to standardize it across the district. And we could do anything from adding a core to graduation, if the student were to test, but then that brings up, what do we do when they don't pass the test, right? Or just making it a flat graduation requirement to pass the test. Doesn't matter what class they get the curriculum in, right? Just pass the test. So we've really struggled with that. So we try to just make sure there are many opportunities across the curriculum where financial literacy is infused into it.
And I do think a lot of our teachers, like Ms. Denham, they recognize that is a skill that our kids need. We do have some sites that, through some of our certification programs, are offering students an opportunity to get a financial literacy certification. And so but that's just like a teacher who recognizes it, has the room in the curriculum that it matches, and they're able to do that. So there are some different ways to look at that.
Christy, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think you'll mind. How much time do you spend on financial literacy in your government class? Right. Ideally, within your econ semester, how much more time could you give financial literacy, or do you need to give more time? Right. makes total sense. Thank you.
Social studies is a goal on here, so you could definitely participate.
Well, it's very specific to freshman seminar, but will it be all grade levels of social studies?
Well, the second goal there, it has that they're going to review their standards and create priority standards and then eventually get to district assessments in all the levels of social studies.
Okay.
So that'll be
Thank
what
you.
we're working on also.
Okay. It sounds like Christie's volunteered to be part of that committee.
I wrote her name down.
Great, great. I guess I just wanted to comment on Mr. Peterson's comment about financial literacy, and I'm not sure we can teach it too much. So in my opinion, if they get it in freshman seminar and
You're
again
right.
in econ, and if there is a class that is specifically financial literacy, I don't know if that falls in social studies or math, but I think it would be great for us to develop curriculum and then let campuses run with it, much the way senior seminar has gone. I don't know if those classes are duplicative, but I, for one, would be in favor of that.
Mrs. Ballinger, quick question. I know the state legislature in their granted and infinite wisdom have placed another requirement. And would that possibly fulfill the area of financial literacy as well as financial algebra? Can't think of what they call it. We used to call it Adulting 101, but
Which requirement are you talking about?
yeah, the one where
Is
you
there-
have to have the financial, like I said, it's like Adulting 101, and I can't think of the title of it right now, which course that they said we have to start.
Well, there's the media
offering.
literacy one that we have to start.
Right.
The ethnic studies we have to start.
Yeah.
And then they have to meet the algebra requirement.
Okay.
Which a lot of that, freshman seminar is a great place to teach a lot of that,
Sure.
but you can only teach so much in
Right,
a
right, right.
semester.
Right.
So we do have to
Okay.
find homes for a lot of different things.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, call for the vote. Thank you for your work on the goals. Look forward to the progress. And that passes 4-0. And now we will move on to the MOU for CP 42. Dr. Weimer?
At the November board meeting, Stephanie Dietz from the City of Merced presented an overview of the proposed Parks and Recreation Facility project on Tyler Road. MUHSD, the City of Merced own property adjacent to each other, and the MOU outlines the intent of MUHSD, the City of Merced, Merced County, and Merced County Office of Education to form a joint powers authority. The superintendent recommends the board approve the MOU CP 42.
Is there a call for the, I'm sorry, is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion
Is
to
there a
approve it.
second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? And call for the vote. That passes 4-0 as well. And now we'll move on to revisions to Board Policy 3511.1, Integrated Waste Management. Dr. Weimer.
And Dr. Weimer, before you go, I just want to give a little background on this item because it's pretty cool. So in November, I received an email from Sean, and he very politely pointed out that we were a little behind the game in our board policy on a particular item. And I said, okay, Sean, well, I will check that out and get back to you in a few days. And I did that. And then got back to him and said, we will move forward with your idea. So Cabinet talked about it, and that is how you have that item tonight. So I think Sean and Mr. Weimer are going to kind of share that responsibility.
Actually, I'm going to read the normal blurb and then pass it. The California School Board Association assists the district in maintaining its board policies, in providing mandated, coordinated mandates, and optional policy language recommendations. These recommendations ensure that the district policies are aligned with current California law. Staff has updated the policy to reflect the most recent changes to California law, penal code, and education code. The current policy has not been updated since 2006. So we do have two students who would like to share a little bit of a presentation on this tonight. We have Sean Villegas and Valerie Cuevas Martinez, who will be coming up. Let me make sure we have the stuff for them.
Testing. All right. Hi, guys. My name is Sean Villegas. I am a senior. I'm also involved in the Junior Ambassadors Club at Yosemite High School and the Interact Club. This is my partner in crime.
Good afternoon. My name is Valerie. I'm also a senior. I go to Golden Valley High School, and I am the president of the Environmental Club at GV.
So let's go over the agenda for today. Thank you guys also for taking the time to put us into the agenda. We also want to thank you guys for having 90% of our electricity being generated from solar panels. That is a big achievement. So we review the policy 3511.1, integrated waste management. We are working with Dr. Weimer to create a more updated policy, and we'll go over considerations for policy improvement if anyone has questions. And then last but not least, we have sustainable solutions, success stories, and a moment to open the room to questions.
So the reasons we've been wanting to update this policy is, as Dr. Weimer had stated before, the policy was adopted in 2006, and quite a bit of time has passed since then. We believe that future schools require more in-depth coverage of waste management, and we would like to ask you guys if there's any possibility of revisiting integrated waste management to match the board's recent efforts to sustainability and resource conservation.
And the fact that we're here today also answers that question, so we want to thank you again. So I want to share a little bit about how the policy that we're creating addresses the needs of the future generations and also tackles the issue of having cost-effective waste management right here. So the policy prioritizes environmental responsibility and sustainability by establishing a comprehensive waste management program with annual reviews. This also will have a focus on environmental education, possibly, with encouraging partnerships with outside organizations for resources. We strongly believe that this policy will support future generations, and we won't have to have a student 2 decades later come to the board and be like, hey, this is outdated. So not only will we prioritize cost effectiveness, but we also want to be in alignment with the green school operations. And we are eager to discuss partnering with outside organizations to bolster your guys' efforts in sustainability.
So, throughout our process of getting here, we came across a few success stories. And first up, we have Denair. Their contract helped Denair School by ensuring the custodian's role in managing recycling efforts. They contribute to environmental sustainability and education, aligning with the school's goals to promote responsible and sustainable practices, and 100% of their food is actually composted. Next up is Pasadena Unified. They transitioned into non-polluting commercial electric lawn equipment for maintenance. The district now uses 100% battery-powered equipment. The initiative aims to support local schools effectively and creates a cleaner environment for the community.
Our next slide is honorable mentions and letters of support from students and also outside of the school too. Valerie and I decided to give the community and the school a chance to voice their opinion, and it was really amazing to see how much of the student voice got involved. We had about 529 responses, and of that response, 88% were students of MUHSD, were students in high school, and 62.8% were MUHSD students. We also had director of the lead for electric bus initiatives at Modesto City Schools send a personal letter of support for us, listed up there. He is very appreciative that the board is meeting with us today and supports our student-led initiative.
We now open the room to questions. So if you have any questions, we are here to answer them. And if not, we also have some questions that we thought you might have, and we have answers to those questions.
I'm not aware that any of our sites are composting, but I wondered if that's maybe an initiative even that FFA could tackle or something along those lines. I don't know. The Denair example was interesting.
Yeah, that would be great. So we have a contact at Denair who's on the board, and she was actually the one that told me that. She is the principal of MUHSD Scholars at MCOE. FFA would be great because of their agricultural background. I do know that LCAP has led some of the initiatives out there for sustainability. I also want to open the room for discussion because I don't want to take away from any of the sustainability initiatives that you guys have done for MUHSD. I did recently attend the meeting at Atwater for the Green School Clubs, and their club that was here actually was there too. It was just really great to see what you guys did. So of course, coming in here, very polite, and we want to thank you for taking the time to schedule with us. So thank you so much. We look forward to working with you. Any questions, comments?
Well, first of all, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and thank you for speaking. Glad to see we have two future Rotarians here. I did have the pleasure of meeting Sean at one of our other meetings, and so it's great to see you guys so involved in some of these initiatives. How did you message your information? How did you send your form out to reach all your respondents here?
So the form, we did a Google form. Let me go back up here. There it is. So the Google form, it's an anonymous reporting, but they do have to identify if they're a student, teacher, or anything in admin. So we have it linked to Sheets, and I believe what that screenshot says it doesn't, so hopefully it does. But that's how we sent it out. We just sent it around social media, and they shared it with their friends. But as far as who posted it, I'm not aware, because it was anonymous.
So what are your ideas for taking this to the next level?
Well, the next step would be working with Dr. Weimer to make it more associated with your guys' goals for cost-effective waste management. Also, having students in our environmental clubs take this project on so that it continues and just doesn't drop dead would be great. We have a lot of great students at Yosemite High School who are really the things they do, man, it's awesome. We just got done presenting at San Francisco for the Green School Operations and also in Pasadena, and we're in talks of presenting at Washington, D.C. too. So having those kids at Yosemite High School take the club on, or excuse me, the initiative on, and Valerie's connections as well, is how we will keep this alive.
Sean, besides composting, what other ideas do you have for the district to do?
So we listed Pasadena up there as another idea for green ways to do gardening. You know, other ideas can be as simple as just having more recyclable cans out. I do know that you guys have a contract with some company out in Fresno who comes down and takes all of the recycling. Now, I'm not too keen on what that is, and I don't want to step on anyone's shoes, but we're here to help, and like small ideas like giving more recycling cans with the trash cans outside would be great. I love what you guys are doing with the water outside. I just saw the new ones. It's great. So like little ideas go a long way. At the end of the day, it's really just about, you know, collaborating on an idea that is realistic and doesn't require too much funding on your guys' end.
What is one of the biggest items that you found that is outdated on the current policy that needs to be addressed right away?
Well, the first part was that it was 17 years old, and the fact that it doesn't address the future needs generations. So the fact that we're putting that in means that there will be constant need for addressing what's in the future. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but the flooding that happened was very devastating. And there could have been a way to possibly have student voice come in and get help to those people. Valerie, do you have any comment? Because I know she was the one that was doing a lot of work and research on the.
I think the only thing I have to say really is that the current policy doesn't really require that we do follow-ups on how our environment is doing and how the schools are doing with in regards to like the environment. So I think that if we were to update this policy, it would also be a good idea to require like annual revisions to the policy just to make sure that it is in line with like our current needs and future generations when things change, because things will eventually change, and just to ensure that everyone is happy and comfortable in the environment.
And a more direct answer to your question that I just looked at right now, since I haven't pulled up, there was no addressing education or anything about environmental protection in the school curriculum. I do know that Yosemite High School has a class for solar energy, which is great. Classes like those would be beneficial and also get people interested in job opportunities in Merced. I mean, you guys got a bunch of solar panels outside. Somebody got employed for those. So is there any more questions?
I don't have a question, but I appreciate that it came from students that pointed this out to us. So I'm all for students voicing their opinion and bringing it to us so that we can do something about it. So thank you guys for bringing it to the district's attention.
Thank you, Ms. Valdez.
Thank you very much. Is there a call for the vote? Oh, you have to read. Sorry, Dr. Weimer.
And I also have noted with them, and we'll be following up with them, Mr. Gottschall has taken PARS, and so this is an M&O area. So we will be looking to hire a new person probably within the next month or so. And so as we have somebody on there, then we will also be able to have that person meet with them and start to put some concrete ideas and bring those back.
Mr. Weimer or Mr. Peterson, the contract that he mentioned, what does that company do? Do we pay them to collect the recycles and they keep everything, or how does that work?
I would have to look that up. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Can we, please?
Yep. I can get that for you in the polls.
Thank you to both of you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was also going to add, it's possible we could add some of this curriculum into our social studies, you know, talking about the environment and freshman seminar. It's going to be the catch-all, everything in there, right? But
Yeah, shout out to Ms. Delgado, Women's Studies. That'd be a great other thing to do. So,
Thank you.
thank you both very much.
Superintendent brings before the Board of Trustees revisions to Board Policy 3511.1, Integrated Waste Management, for first reading and the possibility of adoption, thereby waiving the second reading.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? Call for the vote. And that passes unanimously. So we will move on to our last action item, board approval of certificated assignments. Mr. Nicholson.
Good evening. The Board of Trustees must take action on each request for a variable term waiver. The Commission on Teacher Credentialing requires that waivers be requested for individuals not fully credentialed in a specific area. The district is requiring an additional waiver in the area of English learner authorization for a newly hired CTE or Career Technical Education credentialed teacher. So the superintendent recommends the approval of the variable term waiver for certificated assignment.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
A second.
Further questions? Call for the vote. And that passes 4-0. This time we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Peterson?
Thank you, Mrs. Ham. I just want to give Kelly and Rosemary a shout out since they're sitting there looking at me. We've had to deal with some sticky things the last month, and I think we collaborated very well on that, and just appreciate our relationship. Just want to make the board aware that all of our HR functions are basically moved up a couple months this spring, so you're going to see things earlier than you have in the past. Postings will be much earlier. I sent an email this afternoon about the principal hirings to the Buhat Colony staff, the Golden Valley staff, making sure the sites were aware of how we were going to handle that process. So just be aware that we have a lot to do in HR the next few months, and we wanted to get an early start to that. That's all I have.
Thank you. How many people typically retire in a year?
Oh, gosh, 10-ish?
Okay. So 79 is humongous. Thank you, everybody, for your attention and dedication to this. And it's fun to hear that there's a buzz around it and the opportunities within. So thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to communications by trustees. Mrs. Pickle?
Thank you. Just one quick comment. I look forward to the possibility of growing the RJL program. That was a really nice presentation, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Valadez?
just thank everyone as always for what you do for the district and everyone who stays till the end and even those who had to leave. I did want to thank Mr. Haven, but he left. But either way, for advocating for the school bus drivers.
Mr. Coleman?
Well, Happy New Year, 2024. I was able to attend a couple of basketball games over the break. Golden Valley and Buhack, that was kind of interesting. 2 games, girls and boys. I think in 2 weeks, the 19th, I'm traveling to a CSBA workshop. So that was it.
Thank you. I have a couple of things as well. Last meeting, we also heard from a couple bus drivers, and in particular, we had a request to look at sub pay for bus drivers. Just wanted to follow up on that and see if we can get some information, insight.
Sure, we'll get that out on the polls. Is that okay?
Sure. And then I know Classified has been asking for professional development opportunities, and it was great to hear about Innovated Ed. I don't know how we negotiate around that. I know it's sticky. I understand the laws and the issues, and I don't know if that's something on the bargaining table or how we work about that. But CSEA, if it's important to you guys, you know, when you negotiate, that's the time, I think, right? Anyway. Is there a way that we could work with our art classes and consider putting more murals on our campuses? I drive down G Street all the time, so I see Merced High in particular, and you know, the front of it's so impressive, but then the other 3 sides are just white, and it seems like an incredible canvas for our students or community. So I just wanted to toss that out there as maybe something we could do at Merced High or in some of our other campuses.
Sure, we can look into that.
I love seeing Mark Perna on the consent agenda as the speaker to kick off our 24-25 school year. Those of us who were at the school board conference got to hear him, and he was really remarkable and kind of mind shifting, if you will, in terms of curriculum and education and how we think about life after high school for our students and even during high school. And I think he has a lot to say about the potential of freshman seminar. I just wanted to also quickly comment on what Christy Dunham shared about unification. I have no idea what that process looks like. It's interesting to hear that from a staff member. You hear rumblings about it from the community. And over the years, I mean, it kind of doesn't make sense that we're set up the way we are. But I think it would be a really interesting conversation to have with Merced City, Atwater City, Livingston, and just see what the appetite, interest is from them. I don't know the next steps there, but I do think we will probably start to hear from other community members about that as well. But to hear it from a teacher and a union member is really interesting.
I don't have enough knowledge on that to really comment tonight, but with regard to a unified district, off the top of my head, it would not be unification the way some people may have it in their head. It would be dissolving MUHSD. And Livingston would have a K-12, Atwater would have a K-12, Merced would have a K-12. I'm not sure, I don't know this, I'm not sure you can unify with just, one district when, we're a union district that serves the high school students of 3 different communities. And also remember, while we think of it as 3 communities, we have 12 feeders, not 3 feeders. We have 12 feeders. So this conversation gets complicated in a hurry. But if I think maybe the best thing to do with the next step is to bring back this. I'm quite sure will not happen in a month, but maybe March or April. Just being able to explain the basics of the process so we actually know what we're talking about.
I think that would be interesting to hear. Thank you.
No problem.
Aaron, can I ask a question? Is there any way we can get some information on how and when this district was started? Merced Union High School District. Does anyone have any info? Can we get any info on that?
We can make that a part of the process, sure.
Looks like you know.
Started in 1895.
With the El
I mean,
Capitan High
I do know that Merced was the first area high school. Livingston came along shortly after that. Hilmar, Dos Palos, LeGrand all started in the late teens, 20s. Of course, Atwater High School came in the late 50s. And my guess is the Union High School District came about because of the slowness of all the communities had K-8s. And so back in the day, that was your education, K-8. Like my grandfather grew up in Hilmar. He never went to Hilmar High School. He was a dairyman. His dad wouldn't let him. You know, and that's kind of how it was back in those days. And then slowly, you know, the high schools came along, and my guess is the K-8 districts were already established, and then the high schools came after, you know, making it the Union High School District. That's my best guess.
That would be correct. And it did work for what it was used for back then, 1895,
Yep.
Merced High School.
You still remember this?
Absolutely. That's why I think it's time to go. Yeah.
No, but seriously, I'd like to get some history on it.
Well, I can tell you this. I know that John Schmidt and I were working on the 125th anniversary for 2020 when the pandemic showed up and it kind of put everything to a halt. And I think, Viviana, were you working with him on something on that? Mr. Schmidt, the 125th? Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, I know.
That was before her time.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, John would be one that we could, I don't know who wants to talk to John, but he might have that.
Wasn't the first high school El Capitan High School, and it was on G or M? Yeah. Oh, our librarian knows. Okay.
What about the one by
Thank
the
you.
court?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
by
one.
courthouse. Yep, okay. Well, yeah, it would be good to get some history, and it would be interesting to learn about alignment of curriculum and stop this finger pointing on math and reading and such. So anyway, okay. Ooh, with that, we will adjourn at 7:30 p.m. Over, under?